Hello, welcome again. It's Dami Kabiyawu here again, and today's lecture is on lists in Excel. So if you look at my spreadsheet, I've got two columns of data, salesperson and the amount of sales that they've done. In this list here, I've got salesperson entered multiple times. You've got Dami there, Dami there, Dami there. I better wear my glasses. I can't quite see anything. So anyway, I've got salesperson listed and I've got the sales that they've done listed on the other side. And so today I'm going to create a drop-down list that I'm going to use to condition the output of another cell. What are drop-down lists used for in Excel? Well, funny you should ask. They are used when you want to restrict the data that users can supply to a cell for several reasons. So they are a data validation technique. To create them, you will find the option for lists here under the data tab in the group of tools called data tools, and one of them is data validation, this one right here. So rather than talk about data validation in totality, I am going to talk about this particular data validation techniques. So under the settings tab, we're going to allow lists, and it selects automatically for you some certain values. So you've got ignore blanks and in cell drop downs. We can also use this, apply these changes to all of the cells. Not relevant because the way I build my list in Excel, usually I don't require all the extra work, is built with that in mind. So just follow me and it will make some sense. There's several ways to build lists. One of them is just to type your list of options in here using commas to separate them. So let's go yes, comma, no, comma, and what happens when I probably should put one that says select an option, right? So the first one I'm going to put at the beginning here would be select an option. Now that has got space in it. It doesn't matter to the list whether your data has space in it or not. As long as they are comma separated, it'll resolve them correctly. So let me do OK. Okay, I put it in the wrong place. Let's undo that and try again. So data validation. I'm not going to speak this time because I've done everything that needs doing. Select an option, comma, yes, comma, no. Okay, here's my drop-down list. Enjoy. Yes, no. Now, one of the things I don't like about lists in Excel is that there is no indication when you're building it whether there's a list or not. After you've built it, whether there's a list or not in a cell. We know that cell E1 is a list because we built it, but looking at it right now, there's no indication or nothing that shows us that it's a list. Now, if I was an Excel person, a developer for Excel, I would put a little, I would make the drop-down list permanent, so show up permanently to tell users that that is a list, or put some kind of notation in here or little diagram when a list is created that will flag it as a list. I don't work for Excel, so I can't put anything in there that will satisfy me. So instead, I always make my cells obvious. So I'm going to give it a yellow background. I'm going to maybe put borders around it. I might center my data. And then I'm also going to create a label that says select yes or no, and use an arrow to tell the users the cell that I mean. These are all extras. I wish we didn't have to do that, but there's no way for a user to know that this is a drop-down list unless they select it. So Looks good. Now, the second way to create a drop-down list is to use pre-supplied lists. So what I want to do is create a list from this column of data. So let's say select salesperson. And I'm going to go to data validation. We are going to select a list again, but this time the source, instead of typing out a comma separated list, I'm just going to supply the whole column. Now there's a method to that madness, because this formula, this option can be used with formulas. You can create data validation with formulas, and you can also use references to an address. So I want to create it from a list of data in column 1, and I'm selecting the whole column. All I've done is click in here and then go up to the A and select the whole column. And I'm choosing the whole column so that when we add extra data for more sales associates, they automatically filter into my list without me having to do anything. So now if I say OK and go in here, I have salesperson list, and I've got a list of all salespersons. What I love also is that it has filtered out the duplicates and only supplied me the list of unique values. So see, the salesperson called Dammy up here, and is here. But in my list, it's showing up only once because Excel is treating each instance of Dammy as if it was the same thing, same instance. So again, I'm going to go back, put borders around this, center it, give it a yellow background. I like my list to have consistent formatting, so this is just what I've ended up with as a way to build lists. Also, when I open up all of my Excel spreadsheets, I can immediately know that I have a list somewhere because of the way it's built roughly. So now, what do I want to do if this cell has been selected? We can sum up all of the sales that have been carried out by that individual. There are different ways to write the formula. Excel is very generous in the way it allows you to do things. So there are several ways to do the same thing. But I'm going to use a SUMIF function to sum up all of the sales associate values. So let's say equals SUMIF. I'm only doing one. We're going to check this range. A is the range to check. The value to check for is whatever is in cell E3. And when that is true, whenever it's checked for that, it's going to sum the values here. So what I'm saying is, look in cell A, look for the value Dammy, and then sum up the corresponding cells or rows in B. Close that and it's done. I know it's the same because 17,000 plus 12,000 plus another 2,000 something is $31,000. Now, there are no more instances of Dammy. I built this list so I know that there are no more instances of Dammy, so I'm not even going to worry. I'm going to remove a couple of the zeros. I'm going to center this. I'm going to give it a background color, maybe light green. Make it bold. So that is the values for the salesperson. So let's say total amount. Now you could also use that cell or bring in additional information into that cell, right? So I'm going to use a concatenate function to let us know that the total amount in the cell opposite or adjacent is the total amount of sales that Dammy has done. You can use a concatenate function, a text join function, or just simple ampersand to join your text together in Excel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click at the beginning here. I'm going to type equals. It turns that cell into a formula. I'm going to have data, total amount. I'm going to put it in double quotes, because when you're typing text in Excel and using it in a formula, Excel prefers to have it in double quotes. So total amount, I'm going to put a space here, close it, and I'm now going to join whatever is in here. So I want to say total amount for space the individual that is up there. So when I press enter, it shows up as total amount for Dami. I could also use the and sign and add more text at the back end of this. So space, I always like, well, maybe not. But if I wanted to add more information, I could also put a second and at the back of this, right? Total amount for Dami. Doesn't look good, so I'm just going to take this out. Let's put equal to instead of that. Equal to. Total amount for Dami equal to 31,000. And if I go back and select who this person is, next person, it gives me the total amount for them. Let's try Emily. It gives me the total sales for Emily, and so on and so forth. So that's your whole total tutorial on how to use lists in Excel. So I will see you all sometime next week with another one.